Yes. Yes. Somebody was saying something. Okay, fine. If you don't have any questions in packages, we can start with a new topic today. Okay, I'm planning to begin with inheritance today. Okay, you know what is inheritance? Yeah? Any idea about inheritance?
Properties of the parent class will be inherited to child class.
Yes. A class is, the property of the class can be accessed in another class, right? That is nothing but inheritance. Good. Okay, but why do we need inheritance?
Ma'am, to save memory,
To save memory. Okay, good.
time complexity.
To same time complexity also. Okay, yes, good. Yes, you are right. So you can actually reuse the functions, right? You can have the reusability of the same code that you have written if you are using inheritance, right? Meaning that if a certain functionality is, let me get my pen. Yes, okay. Meaning, if a certain functionality or certain function, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Okay. So yes. Okay. Say for example, you have a yes. Okay. Say for example, you have a class. I can give you a rough example for now. Then we'll go to this. The main example, or maybe other few examples also. If you have a class A, or maybe it is nothing. Okay, class A itself. Okay, and it has some function. Okay, void print or something. Okay. Or I give a better example. Wait. I thought of it. Yes. If you have a class, say for example, shape. Okay, and with this shape you have a function. You can calculate area of this shape. Okay, then this calculate area method, right, is going to be inherited, means the complete class can get inherited in its subclass. I am making one more subclass over here, and this is the superclass. Shape is known as the main class, or it is also known as the base class. Okay, base class, or it is also known as the super class. Okay, if I want to create a child of this shape class, then that class will be known as child class. Okay, or you can say derived class. Okay, so if I'm creating a class, say for example rectangle I'm creating. Okay, then this rectangle is going to have its own members for sure. Okay, breadth and height, and it is going to have its own body of function calculate area, right? What I mean to say is you can declare a function once in the main superclass, that is shape, and you can reuse the same function again and again, having its different implementation. Also, you reuse the same variables that you have declared in the shape class. Okay, if there is a variable known as, say for example, integer area, then this variable is definitely accessible in its child class rectangle. Okay, so with the use of inheritance, you are increasing the reusability of the code. You need not to mention the same code again and again. Again, you need not to mention the same variable. You need not to recreate the variables again and again. Means you are saving memory from it, right? You are not using different variables for implementing it. If there are two different classes, then you will use different variables for implementing the scenario. But if they are inherited, then there is no point in reusing the variables. It is a good point. You can again use the same variables that you have declared in the superclass in the subclass. Okay, that is the actual use of inheritance. You have to reuse the code that is declared in the subclass previously, in the superclass previously. Okay. Now, there are different types of inheritance also. Okay, you might have heard this before also. There is a single level of inheritance. Means you have simple. You have one base class, and then you have another is derived class. Okay, you have hierarchical inheritance. Hierarchical means from grandfather, right, to father to child, right? You can have a hierarchy like this also, right? I'll give you one example. If yes, say for example, you have this hierarchical is this one more type. I'll mention the types first. Okay, then I'll give you the example, relevant examples. Okay, you have one class that gets derived in two subclasses. Okay, This is again, you can say multiple inheritance. Multiple means there is one base class and you are using the feature of this base class into different multiple classes. This can go on till n, okay? One class can be accessible in multiple classes. The same example, if it is shape, okay, you're using shape in rectangle, you're using shape in triangle, you're using shape in circle. I think it is nothing but multiple inheritance, okay? And then you have one more type of inheritance is hybrid inheritance. Or you can say the inheritance in which there are multiple classes over here and you want to inherit all of them into one class, right? That is nothing but you want to extend class A, class B, class C into class T. Means class T is going to acquire the properties of all the superclasses, okay? Now this kind of inheritance, okay, this is not possible in Java. The reason I'm going to show it to you later on, but to inherit multiple classes, it is not possible. If you want to inherit multiple classes, it is not possible in Java. The reasons I'm going to show it to you in the example itself. But are you clear with the types of inheritance and what is inheritance? What is the use of inheritance? Then we can move on to the programming. Are you getting this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Then I'll show you the example directly. No, I don't want to give this example now. I'll give this later on, not this one. Yes. Okay. Say, for example, you have a class vehicle. Okay. Then we know that vehicles they may have the properties, the variables like number of tires, say for example. Okay. Then they also have say a string, say for example, model name. Okay. Then they also have model number. Okay. Whatever you are choosing, right? Every vehicle is going to have these things, okay? More things, of course, not this much only. There are more properties also. Now, and there is one more function here. Say, for example, this function is simply printing this. Okay, I'm not doing much over here. And it's simply printing the details of, these variables, okay? Yeah. Number of tires it is printing. It is also printing the model name. Okay, it is also printing the model number. Right now, and this class is also having some constructors. Okay, say for example, it is having some default constructor and it is having parameterized also. Okay, I'm simply printing here. Okay, to show you one more example, I'm simply printing here. This is default. Okay, and it is also having this parameterized constructor, for initializing these values. Okay, the number of tires, right? Then we have this model, yes, number. Okay, and you already know the use of this now, right? Do you remember the use of this? Do you remember what is the use of this keyword in this scenario?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good. Okay. And model number, okay, fine. It is simply printing it, okay. Now, I don't want to, create a print function again. I don't want to reuse these variables. I don't want to redeclare them again in my subclass. Okay, then I will inherit this class. To reuse the functionality of these variables and this function print, I can directly inherit this class in my subclass. Okay. Say, for example, we are creating the first type of vehicle, that is car, right? And in this car, I'm going to create a default constructor also. I'm going to create parameterized also, okay, right? And I'm passing the same parameters over here, right? And to extend this, we can use extends keyword. Extend this class vehicle, okay? So all these variables which are already there in the vehicle class, they are automatically accessible here, right? You see, it is not an error here. Do you see this? These are not these variables, number of tires, this model name, model number. They are not belonging to class car, but still they are visible because it is extended by vehicle class. If I remove the extends keyword, I can definitely get an error over here. It doesn't identify what are the variables. Inheritance can be achieved in Java by the use of extends keyword. Extends is kind of, is a relationship. Is a relationship meaning, yeah, this vehicle, car is a type of vehicle. Getting it? So in that kind of relationship, you can always extend the vehicle's property. If this variable or this class is a type of a certain variable, is a relationship, then you can always extend it, right? When I'm talking about has a relationship, right? In that case, you are telling like this, okay, I have a class car, meaning I'm creating the object of class car over here, okay, and I can say that this first class is having a relationship with car object, means it is knowing it. You can create an object of car object, you can create the object of class car from the first class. So this first and car are going to have has a relationship. Has a meaning first class is having an object of type car. First class is going to create an object of type car, or it can access the this class car, and it is having the has a relationship. Okay, whenever you are using is a relationship, it is always in inheritance. Whenever you're using has a relationship, it is always in the sense whenever you can create object, you are having an object of another class over here. In the first class, it is nothing but a has a relationship. Okay. Now, this is a relationship. Okay, I can use this variables here itself, means I need not to declare them again and again. Although this class car can have its own personal variables. Okay, this class car can have its own personal variables here also, and I am defining that. I'm defining here color also. Okay, I'm defining here one more variable of type color, right? So that I can also assign color to my car. Getting it? What I am saying is, apart from having its own property, meaning this is your class vehicle, okay? It is having property P1, property P2, property means nothing but, variable or function. And this is your class car, okay? This car can have all the properties of vehicle. In addition to this, it can also have its own personal properties. Getting it? Meaning, if you're extending this vehicle in this car, definitely the complete class vehicle is definitely visible over here. Apart from that also, car can have its own personal properties. Okay, means it can have its own variable, it can have its own function. Say for example, this color is nothing but that kind of function, that kind of variable only. It is different for, I don't want every vehicle to have color. Okay, then I'll mention it in the car class. That car is having certain variable of type color. Are you clear with this? Are you getting this? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good. Okay. Now, the object of class car here, okay? When I'm creating the object of class car, you need to specifically see what is happening here, okay? See, you have to completely focus. When I'm creating the object of class car, what is happening? You just observe what is getting printed, okay? Default of car class, okay? I'm creating the object of car class. I'm creating the first car, OB1, with the default object, okay? And I'm creating one more object with parameterized, meaning with these number of tiles, model name, and that. Okay, number of tiles, then it is having model name, okay? ABC is the model name, and it is having model number, okay? And it is having some color, okay? Now, whenever I am, okay, it has to be OB2, okay. Now, whenever I'm creating the object of this with the default constructor, see what is getting printed in the inheritance, okay. Whenever the classes are in inheritance, always the class from which the inheritance has been taken, meaning here from the vehicle class. Even if you create the object of the car class, which is actually this car class, it is not inside, see, I'm not creating the object of vehicle class, right? But still, whenever you create the object of the car class with the default constructor, automatically before executing this body, automatically the control goes to the vehicle class and executes its default constructor, okay? Means whatever values you are assigning over here for these variables will automatically get its value once you create the object of car class. This is known as calling the constructors in chaining. Okay, you are calling the constructors which are in inheritance. Okay, which are in inheritance. Okay, and you are calling this in chaining. Chaining means if you had one more class, say for example, you had one more class here. Okay, I'm making it as okay. I'm making now XUV is a type of car, so I'm extending here car. Okay, I'm mentioning here XUV is extending the class car, and if XUV was having a default constructor, and if I am printing something over here, okay, it is from default of XUV. Okay, then whenever I create the object of XUV class, okay, OB2, say for example, I'm creating with new XUV, automatically the default of this car is called, automatically the default of vehicle is called. Meaning, as in when you create the object in inheritance, their constructors will get automatically called in their sequence. See, always it checks first whether it is extended with some class. Okay, let me check that class. Is it extended with some class? Okay, let me go and check the constructor of that particular class. It is going to always execute them in a sequence in the way it is inherited. Are you getting here what I'm telling here? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is about the default. Okay. Now, what if I create the object with the parameterized? If I create the object with the parameterized, the same thing will happen. Okay. But the parameterized constructor will see default is something that is automatically called, right? The name of default is because of that only. It gets automatically called when you are creating the object of a particular class. But now, if I am creating this object with the parameterized constructor, then also this parameterized cannot be executed. The parameterized of vehicle will not be executed until and unless it is called specifically. But the default will get automatically executed. Even though I am creating the object with parameterized, see, it will always execute the, okay, it is printing so many times. So let me comment these two things. Okay, yes. Even if you are creating the object with the parameterized constructor, okay, then you see the default of vehicle is called, and then the parameterized of this is called. Meaning, I have not printed over here anything. That is why it is not printing, not showing you. But even if you create the object with the parameterized for the subclass, always the superclass's default is automatically executed this way. The reason why it is executed is, I am sharing the reason over here. The reason is, if you remember this keyword, in calling the constructors, you remember this, we were doing this, right? You can call constructors in the same class by using this keyword. Do you remember this keyword with this kind of syntax?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Just like you have this which can call a default one, or you have this which can call parameterized constructor of the same class in the same way, you have a keyword super. This is, even if I have written it or even if I have not written it, it is automatically calling the superclass constructor. Okay, this is actually automatically done by the compiler itself. We need not to do it. As in when you create the subclass, its constructor is automatically invoking the superclass constructor without even writing super keyword. It is happening. Okay, if I am writing super keyword, the same thing will happen. There is no change. When super keyword is automatically written by the compiler in the backend itself, whenever the classes constructors are created. That is the first thing. Second thing, if you want to call the parameterized constructor of this vehicle type, default automatically will get called as soon as you create the object. Okay, default is automatically going to get called. If you want to call parameterized of this class, then you need to explicitly mention here that I want to call superclasses default one, or I want to call superclasses parameterized one. Whatever you want to mention. If you mention the parameters over here, then accordingly that constructor will get invoked. If you don't mention the parameters over here, then default will get invoked. Getting it? In the parameterized constructor also, this is the replacement. You see, I am writing here. No, both the statements are automatically written by the compiler. We need not to mention it. Okay, this is automatically called the default. It is doing now only. See, it is doing now only. Even if you don't write, even if you write, it is going to call. It is definitely going to call the default of the superclass. If you want to call the parameterized of the superclass, Okay, and why do we have to call parameterized? Sukam Daruche Kalkulani, what is the need of calling it? That I am showing it to you. What is the need of calling the superclasses this parameterized constructor? I am showing the reason why we should call it. I am showing the reason. Please, focus very clearly. If I want to call this constructor parameterized constructor of the superclass, you see it is already having 3 variables over here, right? It is already initializing these 3 members over here, right? If I am able to pass these values here itself, if I am able to pass number of tiles, right? I am able to pass model name, I am able to pass model number, I need not to write the statement again and again. You see, whenever I am calling the superclasses parameterized constructor, the call is going here. Automatically, these values in the parameters, they are automatically going here and they are automatically initializing the member of the class. What I mean to say is I need not to repeat the statements over here. I can comment out the statements, getting it? I can remove the statements. The use of calling the superclasses parameterized constructor is whatever parameters you are passing from here, all the parameters which the vehicle class is already having them, right? You can automatically initialize these members with this super and in the bracket the variable name. Once you call the statement, the control is going here, initializing all the variables of the class with these values that you have passed here, right? Meaning with this values only. And only one value is remaining uninitializing, which I am doing it with this dot color equals to color. Are you getting what is the use of super in calling the constructors? Are you getting this? Default constructor, how it is called without even mentioning the super keyword, automatically default is automatically invoked. It means that this, if you write or you don't write, it is automatically going to call the super. It is going to check which is the class it belongs to. Okay, it belongs to vehicle class. Let me go and check what is happening in the vehicle class default constructor. Okay, it is going to execute in a sequence. Super class, the highest level of class. If you have 10 such classes, the first class is from the first class itself, the inheritance is going to happen, and from that class itself, the constructor is going to get executed. Are you getting the point of what is the use of super keyword here? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Are you clear? Pandwani, are you there? Bhavdeep?
Yes,
Divyaji,
ma'am.
are you getting what we are doing here? Divya? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you getting what we are doing here? Bharti? Pranjul? Tushar? Nidhi? Are you getting this? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, once can you show that how it is working?
Yes, I'm showing. See here only. This one, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And how we can pass the parameters?
Okay. Whenever you are creating the parameterized constructor over here, no, beta, you are definitely going to pass parameters here, right? Whatever parameters you are passing here for the class car, whatever parameters you are passing here while you are creating the object with the parameterized constructor, whatever parameters you are passing here, these values I am using here. See, I am using the same values here, right? Now, if I already know that all these variables, right, they belong to vehicle class. They all belong to vehicle class, right? So vehicle is going to have its parameterized construct, right? It is going to initialize these variables any which way. So I am removing the statement. Which statement I am removing? I can write this statement, of course. See, I can write the same statement over here. I can write it, okay. I need not to call to super if I undo this call, okay. This is the way how we initialize the variables, right? But you don't need to repeat the statement again if you already are doing the same thing in your superclass. In your superclass, you have this constructor vehicle with parameterized. It is automatically initializing the variables to their class variables value, right? So you can just call this. To call this constructor, we can write super keyword. And super keyword goes with how many number of parameters? The parameters number is this number only. How many parameters you are passing here? 3. So again, the matching parameter according to the matching sequence, just like we do it in functions, beta. The same way, you can pass your integer, string, and long parameter I'm passing here. These values are copied into these values, and these local values are transferred to global values, and this is how your variables are initialized. Getting it?
Ma'am, but to call super class, we have to first create object for vehicle.
No need to create object. See, I haven't created the object for vehicle, right? Because vehicle is already visible in car, right? So if I just create the variable of class car, that is enough for me. No need to create the variable of vehicle class. See, I haven't created the variable of vehicle class, right?
So the first three parameters will go to super class.
Yes, these three parameters, three. You are, and one more, why I'm showing you one more additional over here? Because the classes can have its own personal property also, yeah? See, it can inherit the complete previous class, it can inherit the complete class over here, but along with that, it can also have its personal property. Meaning, I'm showing you this as an example. Color is personal to car only. Color is not belonging to vehicle. So I cannot pass here color. If in super, if I pass here color, I don't have the matching constructor. See, I don't have the matching constructor which is taking color as the parameter because vehicle is not knowing color. Color is the variable of class car only. And vehicle is inherited in car. Car is not inherited in vehicle. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Anybody having any questions in why do we use super keyword over here in inheritance? This is just the first use, okay? There are multiple uses. I'm going to show it to you. Just the first use. You can call constructors just like you have done using this keyword. This was used for same class constructor. Okay, mind it. These were in the same class. In the same class, if you had multiple constructors, you can use this keyword to call one by one in whichever sequence you want, okay? But super is used to call the super classes constructor. I mean, this is happening only in inheritance. Okay, this is not happening in same classes. Whenever you are having an inheritance relationship between two classes, that's when super comes in the picture to show that, okay, I'm calling the super class, meaning the base class is constructor. Right? Okay. Anybody having any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, in XUV, the super class will be the car, no?
Yes, it will be car. Again, what is car? Car is again, this is what kind of inheritance? It is multi-level. You see, why I am telling you multi-level? Because your vehicle is in car, is in extended in car, right? Vehicle class extended in car. And car extended in XUV, right? Means XUV is going to acquire the properties of vehicle and car both. Along with it, it is going to have its own personal properties. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. It is multi-level, right? For one class, you are having two levels, C, and both these levels are accessible in XUV, right? So even if whenever you are calling the default of XUV, automatically the control is going into vehicle first, and then calling car, and then calling XUV next. Did you see this? See, whenever you are calling, I am creating simply the object of XUV class, okay? I am simply creating the object of XUV class. The first call will be for vehicle. It is the supermost class for XUV, no? First for vehicle, then its subclass car, and then for XUV. It is level inheritance, right? Molecular inheritance. Getting it? Meaning, vehicle is already, disclosed over here. Vehicle is already there over here. XUV knows what is vehicle because of car. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, okay. Anybody having any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Nobody any. Okay, fine. Okay. Let me show you one more example. What I want to show it to you now. Okay, yes, let me show you this example. Okay, that vehicular example. I'll give you the example of employee now. See, I'm giving you the example of employee because there are multiple types of employee. And you'll understand it why we use this employee class in this kind of inheritance. Okay. It is actually single level only. Okay, see, I have a class employee over here, right? Now you know that in an organization, employees could be managers also. Okay. And employees could be, say, for example, programmers also. Okay. Right. So, but actually, they are all employees in the class, right? So, I am extending employee here. Right. Extends employee. You'll see what is happening here. This class manager and programmers both are extending employee, meaning one class is getting, what is the scenario over here? Here, there is one class employee, it is getting inherited in both the classes, manager and programmer, right? But they both are not knowing each other. Okay, there is no such link between manager and programmer. Only they know employee and this knows employee individually. Okay, so this is actually, you see, if you think about it, it is actually a single level inheritance only. Single level, single level. Even though there are multiple classes like this, even though you have one more, accountant, one more employee accountant, one more employee such as typist, even though you have one more employee like this, it is kind of a single level inheritance only because it is extended only once. Typist extends employee and accountant's employee, extends employee, getting it. So it is actually a kind of single level inheritance only, but still it is extended in multiple classes at the same time. Right? Are you getting the example? We have one more class. Say, for example, we have one more class over here. Okay. Typist, say, for example. Okay. And this is nothing but it is extending the employee. It is kind of single level only. But in multiple classes, you are using the same feature here. Okay. Now, if you think about the property, okay, ID will be there with every employee. So if you think about the structure of the program, then whenever the variables which are common to all of them, you can declare an employee itself, right? No need to manage it all, no need to give them separately for managers, programmers, and typists. Say, for example, ID. Okay. Say, for example, you can have the property named as, employee name, right? Name is going to be different for all of them, but the property is common. Employees are going to have name. It means managers are going to have name, typists are going to have name, even the programmers are going to have name, right? Now, say, for example, we have one more variable over here, salary, okay? And we have one more variable over here, bonus, right? Now, if you think about it, the spelling is incorrect, okay. If you think about it, if I am creating the default, constructor, I am simply, not initializing it. I am simply giving here empty brackets, right? Now I am creating the parameterized constructor. Now, if we think the salary calculation will be different for all the employees, right? It is going to vary according to the bonus, right? So we have one function over here. If, for example, void calculate salary. It is simply used to calculate the salary. Why I am giving the function over here? The reason is that the function is going to be same for all of them. Only the implementation will vary, right? I am giving the function here itself. The implementation for managers, programmers, and typists will vary, but at least they are going to calculate the salary. Okay. Now, if I am mentioning here that the salary variable, okay, it is nothing but bonuses. I'm simply giving random values over here. It is nothing but 3% of the bonus. I'm just simply printing here this. Okay. Okay. It is nothing but 3% of the bonus. And I have to keep salary as double because 0.3 is double. Okay, I'm renaming it as double. Now, this parameterized constructor, which I'm using over here, this constructor, it is only going to have two things, ID and name. Why? Because according to the user, the bonus will vary. Managers are getting different bonuses, programmers are getting different bonuses, and typists are getting different bonuses, right? So the values are different and the type of bonus is different. I'm simply keeping here ID. Okay, I'm simply keeping here integer ID, and I'm keeping here integer string name. And I'm initializing this dot ID equals ID, and this dot name equals name. Okay, and we have the, this function for salary calculation in employee itself, right? Now we are coming to managers. Now, as managers, we know that they can have different type of bonus, okay? Now, what kind of bonus you want, that we can give in form of constructors here itself. Say, for example, we are creating the default constructor first. I am not passing anything over here, okay? And now I am giving the parameterized constructor, and whatever is the name and ID of user that you are passing here for manager, that is going to go directly inside using the super keyword I am using, ID comma name, meaning whenever the manager's object is created, whatever user is passing over here, these values are going into the super class employee, and the variables of employee class are getting initialized in turn, right, with the help of super keyword. I am keeping one more additional field over here named as bonus. Okay, and I'm going to initialize here itself this dot bonus equals to bonus, right? I'm giving the value of bonus here itself. Now, same thing for the programmers also, okay? I am going to create the default constructor. Okay, I am going to create the parameterized constructor, right? We will also have ID, name, and bonus, and this will also have ID, named, and bonus, right? And the same use, the use of super keyword. Okay, the use of super keyword is to initialize the call the constructor of the super class. It is calling it directly, and then this dot bonus equals to bonus. Okay. Apart from this also, these classes can have their personal variables, right? So for example, yeah, are you giving car to this manager or not? Means, are you giving car to this or not? Right? I am creating a variable car, okay? If you are giving car, then you are giving here that, okay, I am allowing the car for this manager, so I am setting here that this manager is going to have its own car, so that this dot car equals to true. Getting it? Whatever value you are passing from there, it is going to initialize them, right? What I mean to say is here, every class can have its own properties also. Apart from that, every class can have its own personal properties also, which get initialized in that class itself, right? See, for example, here for programmers, you are giving laptops, right? So you are giving here, are you giving your devices or not, right? You are giving the devices, okay. For employees, for generic employee, you are not giving any kind of laptops or something. But only for programmers, you are giving that, okay, then you pass that. Are you giving it or not? Are you getting the structure here? Why do we use inheritance? You are reusing the same variable again and again, right? And this dot devices equals to devices, right? Okay. Now, whenever I am creating the object, okay, whenever I am creating the object of, if I create, see, this is single level only, okay. If I create the object of manager class, then let us create the first object of manager class. I am creating manager m1 equals to new manager. Okay, if I create with default, automatically managers, okay, automatically the control is transferred to the default of the employee class and its body gets executed. Okay, if I haven't written anything over here, nothing is printed, right? Because I haven't written anything over here at least, but automatically the call is transferred to the super classes, employee classes constructor. Here I am passing now, okay, I am passing here ID, I am passing here ID, I am passing here name, I am passing here, the bonus that the employee is going to get, and I am passing here true or false, right? Now, if I calculate this function using calculate salary, then the calculation is going to be, done in this function only. In this function only, the calculation of salary is going to happen along with the value of this bonus. Meaning, whatever bonus you are passing here in this bonus is getting initialized for this manager class, and according to that only, the salary is going to be calculated. Are you getting here what we are doing? I have not printed anything. I just have to print this value. So it prints the salary value. I haven't printed it yet, so it is showing you nothing. Okay. Salary is, I can simply print salary. Right. So according to whatever is the bonus for that salary, for that employee, according to that only the salary is calculated. If I create one more object of class, say for example, programmers, okay. I create one more object of class programmers, even new programmers, right? And I am passing here the same thing, but here I don't want the user to have its devices. I can pass here false, I can pass here true. But this is going to be the private variable, not private in the sense private, but it is going to be the personal variable of class programmers. But again, they both can have the common variables like this, and the values of common variables can be given using super keyword like this. Getting it? Are you getting this example?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
ma'am.
Anybody having any questions in establishing inheritance in using super keyword? What is the use of super keyword? How do we call constructors? What is the first constructor that is getting called when the inheritance is established? Any questions in this?
No, ma'am.
No questions? If you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll give you one small question to perform and then you all can leave the session. Do you have any questions? Yeah?
Ma'am, but you said multiple inheritance is not possible in Java.
Okay, the reason is that actually I cannot show it to you now, but let me show it to you diagrammatically. I haven't shown the example, so I cannot show you, but still okay. Okay, the reason it is not possible is if both of them, actually it is the concept of method overriding, okay? Method overriding, okay? If you have a class, base class, you have B1 and B2, you have two base classes, okay? And you want to derive them in class D, if both of them are having the same named method, say for example, void show, it is also having void show, okay? Then there is an ambiguity in the compiler. It doesn't understand in the derived class which method to be inherited. That is the reason you cannot write syntax like this, employee, comma, some other class. Say for example, test. You cannot, a single class can never extend multiple classes with comma separated name or with any other syntax. It is not able to extend multiple classes. The reason is that if the class is having the same named method, if the function of this class is same, or even if the variable of this class, integer I, integer I, right, both are same, then it is an ambiguity for the compiler that which I have to inherit over here. I don't know whether it is B1's I or B2's I. Getting it? Because the complete class is visible over here. And same here, the complete class is visible over here if it is inherited, right? Then the compiler will get confused that which method is the show method of which class. That creates an ambiguous situation, so it is not allowed. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'll give you the example of this. I'll give you the example of this in the next class for sure, but you get the picture, right? I
Yes,
cannot
ma'am.
explain it without overriding. So you have to first show overriding. If I show overriding, then the use of super in overriding, then I can come to this point. So it is left yet. I have not covered it yet. It is yet to be covered. In the next session, I'll do it. But you get the picture, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay. If you don't have any questions, then I'll give you one small question to perform. Will you do it? Is it okay? I'll give you one short question to perform. It's a very interesting question. It's a programmatical question, not this inheritance question. Okay, this. I'm meaning to give you this question since long. Now that strings are done, you can do this. Okay, I'm sharing the question here. Try to read the question. I'm going to copy the output and input in another file so that you can understand easily. You can remove this also, yes. Are you able to view the question first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. I'll just fill my bottle and come. Just give me 1 minute. You read out the question. Okay, I'll be back in 1 minute only. I'll fill my bottle. Yes. Do you get the question? Are you getting the question? What do you have to do? You are still reading the question? Getting the question, what you have to do? Shall I explain it to you once? Oh, okay, good, good, good. Meaning I will take dependence. Ayush,
Yes, ma'am.
Rohan,
Present, ma'am.
Bipin,
Present, ma'am.
Manav,
Yes, ma'am.
Anuj, Riddhi, Vidhi,
Present, ma'am.
yes, Yashraj. Yashraj, are you there? Okay. Josh,
Yes, ma'am.
Mansi, Nikita, Manthan,
Present, ma'am.
Smith Kumar,
Present, ma'am.
Devansh,
Present, ma'am.
Bala,
Yes, ma'am.
Yashang,
Yes, ma'am.
Dipin,
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar,
Present, ma'am.
Yash, Manyar,
Present, ma'am.
Parmar,
Present, ma'am.
Niraj,
Present, ma'am.
Rishabh is there, Ivanchi,
Present, ma'am.
Gandhi, Bhanuchali,
Present, ma'am.
Harshvardhan, Vijayraj is there, Pradhanya,
Present, ma'am.
Bharti is there, Avinash, Tanjuri, you are there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. Limbani, Arjan, Maharana.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, yes, yes. Maharana, Tanmiraj,
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Harshvardhan is present.
Harshvardhan, you are there. Okay. Vignesh Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Padmani is there. Sushil Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Dhruvi, Epic. Ruby, you are there? Yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Dhruvi present.
Yes, yes. Dharmik,
Present, ma'am.
Mohammed, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi is there. Arpit, Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
Yash. How did we
Present.
say? Yes, yes. Okay, Yash, you are there. Divya is there. Saif Ali,
Yes, ma'am.
Samir Alam, you are there, right?
Present, ma'am.
Nisha, Vibhucha,
Yes, ma'am.
Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
okay, okay, yes. Kriplani,
Present, ma'am.
Aditya Jain, Jay Dakan, Priyank,
Present, ma'am.
Tushar, Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Girish,
Present, ma'am.
Pratik, enrollment number 62.
Ma'am, Pathik.
Pratik, you are there.
Yes, yes.
Shri is there. 61, 60,
Yes, ma'am.
60, you are there, okay. 63,
Yes, ma'am.
Rima, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes. 65,
Yes, ma'am.
73, Mohammed, Darshan Raj,
Present, ma'am.
and Jaideep,
Present.
Smriti, Vaishali, Vasu, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Aliwad. Okay. Yes, if you have any queries, you can stay in the session. Otherwise, you can leave. Yes, I have marked you present. 73, AI 61, both. 59 also.
Ma'am, once can you show the program? I want to take a screenshot.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. It's a question from Old Chef only. From one of the contests, I got this question. It's a good one. Took it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, okay. Yes, you can leave the session. No problem.